Hello everyone and welcome back to the Nerd Den here once again, and in today's video I am going to be looking at the spoiler-free reviews for Doctor Who Season 2, the very first episode of that season, The Robot Revolution, which is going to be really exciting. I absolutely cannot wait to be having a look at what the critics are saying. So yeah, with all that being said, let's get into the video. Be sure to subscribe with notifications turned on as well, because yeah, Doctor Who is coming back this week. I am so excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of breakdowns, reviews, trailer reactions, all of that cool stuff will be happening on the channel. So yeah, let's get into the video. Okay, so Digital Spy have done a roundup here of what all the critics are saying. I'm also going to be having a look at the a couple of the full reviews as well. So the Times are saying it's a fun, fast-paced hour of TV, laced with trademark Davis's wit and the joy surprises you expect from a man who still clearly longs for that blue box show to come and sweep him far, far away, which is really nice. Variety is saying The Robot Revolution, an initially predictable plot, has an unexpected and pretty ambitious twist in the third act, which it manages to land. Oh, that sounds really exciting. The last few seconds of the first episode are particularly spine-tingling. Oh, that gets me excited. Tech Radar are saying The Robot Revolution gets Doctor Who Season 2 off to a fairly strong, a bit predictable start. The dynamic between Shooty Cat was Time Lord and Verada Sefu's Belle, or Belinda Chandra, is already looking and sounding great, but it'll need more than a great lead dynamic to ensure the iconic sci-fi series is back to its very best. Radio Times is saying that The Robot Revolution is a fun concept that could have been executed a lot better. Would there have been better ways to start the season? Most certainly, but episode 1 has done its job, and now hopefully we await more thrilling adventures to come, so that one's a little bit more negative. Mashable is saying 20 years after rebooting the show, Russell T Davies launches his his boldest season arc yet, with a curious take on AI. Davies has been giving himself a mountain to climb here, with a companion who rejects all Doctor Who tropes, including the endearing quips. So, ooh, very interesting. Now, let's have a look at Variety. So, let's have a look. So there's a lot of here about an introduction to, obviously, this current era. So perhaps more riding on the success of this upcoming season than ever before. So the good news is that the first season, The Robot Revolution, is a decent debut. So Verada Sethu shines as the Doctor's new companion, Belinda Chandra. While I say companion, from the outset it's very clear that, unlike many of the other companions in the show's history, Belinda does not actively want to be there. So that's quite an interesting take, to be fair. After being kidnapped by the robots from another planet who claim her to be their queen, Belinda is unable to return home to the current date despite the Doctor's help. And instead of just going along with every quip and decision the Doctor makes, she's independent and at times pushes back. It makes for an interesting dynamic compared to the other companions and seasons, aided by natural and interesting chemistry between the two. This entertaining episode makes you wonder why Doctor Who feels so precarious in the first place. The complexity of ratings in the streaming era is certainly a factor. In fact, it can be a bit hard to work out how much of a hit the new Doctor Who is. When Gatwa's first season as the Doctor debuted in the middle of last year, episodes were released at midnight on BBC's streaming service iPlayer to coincide with the international release on Disney+. So there's an underwhelming 2.6 million that tuned in for the first episode. So yeah, there's a lot about ratings here. We're just going to skip past that because, it's not about the actual episode. There's some stuff here, yada yada. So, with Gatwa and Sethu, this is the first time that the TARDIS is manned solely by people of colour. Such inclusivity has been the hallmark of the new Davis era, such as the inclusion of a trans character, and the Doctor in a same-sex crush. That was referred to Rogue. Yes, I completely forgot the episode name there. So, okay, very interesting stuff. Obviously, all milestones for this era of the show, but I want to learn about the actual episode. We'll learn about a lot about this era in general, which has already been covered in interviews here, which obviously they're referencing the Radio Times there, which is great. But what about this actual episode? So, right, here we go. Right, so there's opportunities for Belinda and the Doctor just to hang out and decompress. One of the great appeals of Doctor Who, and one of the reasons why it has been long-lasting, is not only how it's also reinvented itself, but how unpredictable it can be with each episode, with light-hearted and comedic episodes usually followed by disturbing ones. So the traditional plot beats when a new companion joins Doctor Who are also examined in turn in this episode, even though they did similar with Ruby Sunday. For example, the Doctor has two hearts. His name is just the Doctor. The TARDIS is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. So it's following those traditional tropes as well. So I'm guessing that's what other review critics are saying when Doctor Who is being predictable again, I guess. So yeah, there's a lot of questions surrounding this episode. So like, so there's obviously like the referencing about Susan Triad and stuff, yada yada. So yes, they're now going on to Mrs. Flood, and obviously that's being set up as a mystery that is going to be answered. So it doesn't really talk a lot about this episode, really. But without revealing spoilers of the Robot Revolution, an initially predictable plot has an unexpected and pretty ambitious twist in the third act, which it managed to land. So I think, yeah, I think the reason why I haven't spoken too much about the plot is because there's probably going to be spoilers and that sort of stuff. But yeah, still pretty good, and definitely one of the most favourable reviews. Let's have a look at the Radio Times, where they're like, yeah, it's a shaky start, but Verada Sethu shines. So I feel like across the board, Belinda Chandra is going to be a really interesting companion to have on board the TARDIS. So yeah, we've got a lot that's going down. Obviously, yeah, she's being kidnapped. We all know this thing that's going down in her story. So we've got Sethu absolutely shines and is a breath of fresh air. The debut of Belinda, who simply isn't up for a jaunt across the stars and just wants to get home, is one of the most joyful parts of the episode. Her spiky dynamic with the Doctor is a welcome switch-up, although it heralds back to certain classic companions too. So yeah, that's nice to see. So it's clear that she's set to challenge the Doctor this season in a way he might not be used to, which is good. It's nice to have that challenge. But the episode is dragged down in various ways, most of which we can't talk about just yet. Suffice to say that the episode's climax, involving a rather ludicrous reveal, fails to stick the landing. Okay, that's an interesting contrast there. There's also some very on-the-nose writing, characters stating the obvious rather than allowing the episode's themes to speak for themselves. So we're going to get some of that exposition. Nice. And also we get Anita Dobson's Mrs. Flood making her long-awaited return. Obviously she's in every episode, so every week we get another appearance from Mrs. Flood. And the episode wastes no time in setting up some intriguing mysteries when it comes to our new companion, as well as answering one that viewers will have been curious about. So we are probably going to get an answer about Mundy Flynn, I'm guessing. So yeah, really cool stuff. Indeed. Wow. Okay, so I think it's mainly the ending where it's going to get criticised. So I guess we'll have to wait and see when it airs how this ending could potentially not work. So yeah, there we go. That is our spoiler-free look at the Robot Revolution. I am so excited for this episode to drop. Like, we're literally so close now. A matter of days before Doctor Who is back on our screens. And I absolutely cannot wait. But with all that being said, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. If you are new around here, please click that like button and subscribe for more nerdy content. And I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much for all the support. Take care. Love you all. And peace.